Good morning. I'm very honored to welcome you today for the 11th edition of the Project Management Summit, organized by the amazing PMI volunteers of the Bulgarian chapter. If you see this badge weared by some of the volunteers, you can ask them questions and make sure they support you today to have an amazing event. They are very kind and very smiling, so go for it. If you need something, advice, guidance, they are here for you today. It is really, really very special day because there were a few years that we cannot meet in person, and we were really missing the meetings with you and the opportunity to host you. It has been a while, of course. We had a bit of turbulence times, but now we are here, and I'm very happy and honored. As you probably have noticed through the different announcements we already made, this conference was inspired by a book written by Nassim Taleb. anti-fragile things that gain from disorder. In this turbulent time, we had the time to stop, rethink, reprioritize, and come with new ideas. In his book, he divides the world and the people and the institutions in three streams. One are fragile, like people that are trying to avoid disorder and stress. And they think by this they're avoiding mess in their lives. But actually they're getting more vulnerable because inevitably stress comes without prediction. And this is not the best way to approach disaster. The robust, on the other hand, these are people that they don't react to stress, they resist the stress, and they don't change by it. And the new way of getting stress disorder he introduced is the anti-fragile way. He said by the anti-fragile approach, you can get from stress more stronger, more creative, and be more adaptable to new challenges. Of course, we were forced to be more adaptable because we live in a VUCA world. There is a lot of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And the approach to be anti-fragile helps you to be more sustainable, successful, agile, and adaptable to the new reality, to the new VUCA world. I guess you have noticed that there are a lot of diamonds on our marketing materials, maybe even on the espresso that you take later on. And that's not a coincidence. We believe that diamonds are representing the idea of anti-fragility because diamonds are created through the carbon deposit underneath the earth that are exposed to high temperature and pressure. So we tend to say to the team, no pressure, no diamonds. And they have been through a lot of pressure times, but they're here smiling and enjoying the diamond event today. I'm very happy that since a few years, the PMI Bulgaria chapter, during this turbulence time, not only grew in volunteers, but also in members and in projects that we have started to deliver. One of the newest projects we have started to do from last year is the Project Management Awards project. That is recognizing the effort of all the project managers, the project management office teams. They recognize as well different projects like social impact project. And we have here in the hall the team of volunteers that are representing the PM Awards. Please guys stand up. So if you're wanting to take part, you can go to them and ask them how to apply, how to fill your applications. You still have the time because the event is planned for 8th of June, and we're very happy if we meet a lot of you again then and celebrate the success the Project Management Society has gotten during this year. One other project we have started is a sustainability course together with the Rio National Park. And some of the deliverables you can see in the hall on the back and in the lobby. These are beautiful pictures that popularize the beauty of our nature and get us to think what to do to clean a bit, don't get our future generation a mess. So I'm encouraging you, take a look, think what you can do to support the sustainability course and keep the nature clean. We at PMI Bulgaria and the PMI as well, we know that individually we are one drop, but together we are an ocean and we can change the world. PMI over 50 years believes that people are empowering people to make ideas reality. So together with coalitions, community, we can unite and get really a big impactful projects. And that's what we are encouraging to do. Get in communities and let's change the world, because this depends on us. I really think that we can change the world by, being the example for the future generations. That's why we started to focus on having a lot of cooperation with universities. And we encourage you, the professionals, to join our forces and show them the way so they can contribute to bigger causes and deliver impactful projects, because this is our future and we together should create it. I am really thrilled because we have a number of amazing speakers lined up, and today we'll learn more about how to be anti-fragile, what are the future trends of project management. You will see what people outside Bulgaria are doing. They will share knowledge, and I'm really eager to get to know more about it. Now, please, relax, shine bright as a diamond, and don't forget, we are all diamonds in the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, teammates, good morning. I am Elena Elenkova, and for me it's real pleasure to be your host today during the PMI Anti-Fragile Summit 2023. I'm so happy to see the hall full again. And I should share with you that you are lucky that you have your place here today, because we were short of tickets day before the event. Applause for you. I realized that behind your passion to be here today is a long waiting for our iconic event. We built a tradition. It's the 11th time that we come together to pack a day with knowledge, experience, new quantities, and uncharted path. The day marks our progress, our unity. It helps us move forward in our profession, our business, but also in ourselves. These are things that make us anti-fragile. The day is special, and I can't spend it alone together on that stage. Please welcome on the stage my co-host today, the remarkable Orlin Pavlov.
Thank you, Elena, and your applause, of course, for Elena Elenkova, ladies and gentlemen. Hi,
Hi.
nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, I'm immediately taken by the energy of this room. It feels like a rock concert, and Elena, what do project management crowd chant?
Let's try with resources.
Resources, okay. So, let me hear you on 3. 1, 2, 3. Resources. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3.
Resources.
It's getting better. 1, 2, 3.
Resources.
Okay, let's try something like eh-oh, le-oh, le-le-le-oh. Resources. Nice. I love it. Thank you very much. Thanks to the energetic and wonderful children from the Masha Ilieva Ballet School, whose performances are in the repertoire of the Sofia Opera and Ballet. Ladies and gentlemen, they were really great. Really, really great. Music we blend today, my world and yours. Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank to the fantastic Bisera Dimitrova. If you miss her regular performances for the Sofia Opera and Ballet, you may enjoy one of the appearances of the metal band she's a part of. Let's give her a big applause at Bisera Dimitrova. She was amazing. Talking of appreciations for the PMI Bulgarian chapter president, Mrs. Bojana Zahova, of course. Thank you, Bojana.
New chairman, so.
Yeah. Each community has its legendary heroes. Yeah. Today we will have the pleasure to enjoy live one of the living legends of project management, ladies and gentlemen.
He is one of the founding members of Project Management Professional Certificate. He starts his journey in project management that was used to be one of the tasks each engineer. With his help and continuous support, those tasks have grown to standalone science today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Lee Lambert. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Hello. Nice to meet you
Nice
again.
to meet you. The stage is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. Elena,
Yes.
let me help
Thank you. This is really awesome. I've got to tell you, I came here with a very prepared kind of speech, at least in my head. As you watch my slides, which there are none of, you'll see what I'm talking about. But as I went through this, I thought I was coming to like a conference of project management, and instead I come to a concert and a ballet demonstration. So I mean, I got to tell you, I do hundreds of these, first time. First time. So you can be proud that, I think it's good. One of the things I've noticed about PMI and the things that we do is we get kind of stale. It's kind of like same old, same old. This is new. This is exciting. I've been here since, 6 o'clock this morning. I must say, no one on the committee was here before I was. And so, but dedicated volunteers, that's how these programs happen, is by people who, I was going to say don't have anything else to do, people who want to practice what we preach. Project management is, I'm going to talk about it, obviously. Project management is far more than a job. And I think until we grasp that and understand the potential, the opportunities, we'll consider it a job. And what I want to do today is try to inspire you to think beyond that, to think beyond what's out there, what could be possible for you. And I'm going to use myself as an example. Now, I have absolutely no training in public speaking. I do have training in project management, and what I learned over the years is if you can't speak in public, you probably won't ever be a real successful project manager. You got to be able to communicate what it is you know. And so I'll try to give you an insight. Now, we build this as the future of project management through the eyes of the past. So let me set the stage. I was in project management for about 10 years before I discovered PMI. So I started my project management career in 1966. Now, how many of you were born after 66? Yeah, that's kind of sad when I think about it, because it reminds me how old I am. But I think that over that time, and some of you are already saying, God, if I'm going to look like that after a career in project management, no thanks. But this didn't happen because of project management. This was a normal evolution. And so I spent about 10 years kicking around the job market, so to speak, most of it with General Electric, which is a fairly well-known company. And from that, as I started out as a mechanical engineer, that's my training, I learned very early that as an engineer, I sucked. I really didn't set the precedent for being a great engineer. So I immediately started to look around for, what else could I do? I'm young, I'm married, I already got a kid, I need money. And so I looked around and found this coordinator job. I'd never coordinated anything, but it had good salary. And so I said, well, heck, let me give that a try. So I got started with it in that way. In about 1973, General Electric had a huge government contract that required earned value application. Now, I don't know how much earned value you've used here in Bulgaria, but it's a proven technique, but it's one that requires a lot of discipline, and therefore most project managers run when they hear about earned value. They don't want anything to do with it. It's like a cockroach when you turn the light on, say scatter. You don't know. And so I was recruited. Actually, I volunteered to train about 300 engineers in the use of earned value. That was my first real hands-on experience with project management, and what I found was I really liked it. And then I combined that with training, which is my first experience of getting paid for doing nothing. I thought, this is for me. And so I started to work in that field. But I always felt like I was falling a little short on the money side. I've interviewed some of our committee. I made a point I kind of embarrassed some of the young ladies in why they changed jobs, and it's because the salaries aren't good. But then the second thing they said was, but I love the people I work with. I love the company I work in. Sometimes it's not all about salary. Well, I was young and I didn't realize that. I thought it was all about money. And so I decided I better go see a counselor, a professional counselor, to help me decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I went to this lady. I called around. I got calibrated. This is the lady. So I called up for an appointment to go in and see her. And they said, no, not a problem. We'd love to have you. We can get you in about 6 months. I said, 6 months? Are you kidding me? They said, no, she's very busy. A lot of people are looking for career opportunities 6 months. So I said, okay, sign me up. So I signed up for 6 months. I waited very patiently. 6 months came. I was so excited to go into her office because she had quite a reputation. So I almost ran into her office, and I sat down, and the first thing she said to me was, what are your objectives? I said, wait a minute. I thought that's what you did. I thought that's what you said. You helped me set my objectives. No. She said, somewhere along the line you've misunderstood. You're supposed to come here with your objectives, and then I help you decide how best to achieve those. She said, if you haven't prepared your objectives, you're going to have to reschedule. I said, I'm not rescheduling. Are you crazy? I waited 6 months. I said, well, while we've been talking here, some things have come to my mind. And she said, okay, but if you have, okay, what do you got? I said, well, there's a couple came to mind right away. First, I don't want to work. And she responded quite professionally. She said, not at all? And I said, well, if I have to do some of that, I will. But it's not high on my priority list. And she said, well, okay, I can see by your resume and your paper, you've had a fast-paced career. You're probably ready for a little downtime. I understand. She said, but you said a couple of things. Well, what's the second thing? I said, well, this one may bother you a little bit. I want to make a hell of a lot of money. And she said, now, wait a minute. Let's recap. Now, Carol knows that when a psychologist says, let's recap, that you've stumped them. They're buying time to figure out what the heck is this guy all about. So she said, let me recap. She said, you don't want to work, but you want to make a lot of money. I said, damn, you are good. That is exactly my objective. You hit it dead on. I said, do you have any ideas about that? She said, have you ever considered project management training? Yeah. So that's how I got in this business. And I got to tell you, this is just between the 850 of us in the room. It's working. It's definitely working. The only difference is now, since about maybe 2013 or so, I haven't worked a day in my life. I really haven't worked a day in my life since I took on project management. One of the sayings I always have, it's not mine, I wish it were original, is that if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I love project management. And it's given me opportunities that would have not come to anyone else. Now, granted, I need to make sure you understand that your attendance here today is appreciated. I mean, this is the biggest group I've done for a long time. But at the end of the day, when you walk out those doors, nothing exotic and exciting is going to have happened. You have to take what you learn here today and apply it in your world to make things happen. Nobody ever gave me anything. And if you want to wait around till somebody gives you something, good luck. You've got to make it happen, okay? So the way my career went, and then I'll get to the future, because I've got some really great ideas about the future, because I'll be dead. And I'm not worried about it, so if my predictions aren't true, who cares? But I'll give you some anyway. So I translated the GE job into a training position. I mentioned that. Then I went to work for a national laboratory which made nuclear bombs. That was their product, high quality, I must say, nuclear product, and formed what became later a PMO. Now, PMO is the big rage right now. Just hold on, it'll change. But it's a big rage right now. It's having a PMO. Well, I started the first one. I've been given credit in a book that I started the first PMO in 1977, except I didn't call it PMO. I didn't know what a PMO was. I thought that was something you got at the grocery store. And so it was called Management, Information, and Support. That's MIS. Well, that got confused with the IT people, and their power play pushed me aside. And so that's where they started with the PMO. I've always thought that the PMO is a support organization. We should be there established to support project managers, to provide them with what they need to do their job effectively. As soon as that morphs into a Gestapo, then the model has changed. Now it's a control and command situation. Many project managers resist that, okay? So you just have to understand the environment that you're in. So I did that for a little while, and then moved on to Battelle Memorial Institute, which is the largest contract research organization in the world, to implement project management in their organization. Never been done before. It was a first-time affair. But what really intrigued me about that position was that the mentality of the people I was working with, the intellectual capability and capacity of the people that I worked with. And I figured if I can sucker them into doing project management, I can sucker anybody. And so my claim to fame is implementing project management. But it's really about people. It's about people. So my last corporate position, and then I'll get to the predictive side. My last corporate position was Vice President of Staff and Organizational Development. A natural for a mechanical engineer, don't you think? Yeah. But it doesn't matter what your background is. It matters if in your heart you understand the impact you can have. When I speak in front of 850 people, I have to understand this is a tremendous responsibility. Because anything I say, some of you are going to take it seriously and go out and try to do it. Oh, my God. I hope it works out for you. But I really think that's important to understand that the reason I do these, and I probably do 50 or 60 a year. I'm doing 60 countries this year, and I do them for you. I mean, I don't get anything out of them. And the volunteer committee will tell you that my price is way out of line for what I deliver, okay? Because I don't charge anything. So, and I do that on purpose because if you don't like what I said, too bad, you got your money's worth. And so that's what we want to be able to say. So I finished that job up, and then I decided I'm going to go out on my own and save the world. I'm going to go out on my own, save the world. Since that time, I've trained 50,000 students in 23 different countries, get constant feedback from people about what worked and what didn't work. Sometimes that's more important than what did work. And have continued to do that since then. I linked up with PMI in 1978. And one of the first things I did was in 1981, because of the fact I created a reputation, which really didn't deserve to be there, was invited to be one of the primary founders of the PMP, Project Management Professional. There's 1.5 million right now. 1.5 million. We changed the history of PMI. PMI, essentially, for a long time, although it's growing out of that now, was PMP. That was really PMI, okay? But what we've seen happen is the predictive side. Now, I think about things in three ways. It's a triple constraint, but not the one that we publicize, not that one. The triple constraint I use is techniques, tools, and teamwork. I think if I look back at my project management career, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. There is nothing new. It's the same old, same old. Same problems, same issues, same resource constraints, same everything. The only thing that's changed is that we've elevated the things that we have available to us to help us navigate through that process. And the tool, we have new tools coming online every day. I mean, I go to these meetings and I see these placards that say my system will do this and this and that. That's not true. That's not true, except for our sponsors. Our sponsors, whatever they say, there. Okay. So it's important to understand that the tools support the technique, essentially, okay? And in our view, the technique is the PMBOK. The PMBOK has become the standard for certification. The certification has become the standard for professionalism. And so we've established that framework. But yet what's happened, and this is what bothers me a little bit, is that there are PMPs out. How many of you are PMPs? Just raise your hand. Raise your hand. No, raise your hand. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Most of them are here for PDUs. Okay? I'm no fool. I know how this works. I created the darn thing. I know how it works. And so what I want to suggest to you is I'm a big PDU fan, don't get me wrong. But PDUs were intended to be continuous learning, not a numbers game that kept your certificate valid. You're supposed to, at the end of the year, at 3 years, have 60 PDUs distributed among types of learning that are important to the job that you're in, and therefore you become better and better and better. I'm a continuous learning guy. It never stops. And so we really need to do more about that. We can take Chat GPT. How about that, huh? Chat GPT. If we follow that to its logical end, they won't need any of us. We just put it in Chat GPT, and out comes the answer. That's pretty funny. Man, especially the people that sell that. Seem to think that that's the way it's going to work. But here's the future. The future is not earned value. The future is not critical path methodology or risk management tools and techniques. The future is right here in this room. And the key to this working is collaboration. Working together with like minds to facilitate a learning process. We found that problems get solved by people. It's the weirdest thing. And the more people you can get to collaborate, the more problem solving we can accomplish. Now, in order to do that, of course, you have to leave your ego at the door, because this has to be a collaborative affair. And I don't have to agree with your ideas. You don't have to agree with my ideas. We're trying to facilitate a process that says, hey, when we're all done and we look at what we've accomplished, we'll come up with an answer that satisfies the need. So we've got to be, in a way, much more focused on that idea. I've been talking with Daniel from Israel while we're here. Again, some of you might have noticed that I work the crowd. That's my job, is to work the crowd. That's how I find out what the hell's really going on. Okay, I can read what's going on, but then I want to know what's really going on. And so I talk to people. And one of the things that I think is important to understand is the concept of applied learning. We spend a lot of time in classes, a lot of time in exploring learning opportunities, and we think we understand them. We think we're quite good at them. But we never translate those into the real world of project management. How many times have I heard someone say, well, Dan, this isn't working at all. This looked great on the video. Well, applied learning is where that takes place. And so you can talk about it and read about it all you want. I have read, I'm embarrassed. I have read one book in my life. I'm embarrassed. But look where I am. Look where you are. How about that, huh? Yeah. So it's not about what you do with the books. It's what I get. Here's what I've got. My library, and Frank will appreciate this because he's kind of a book guy. My library is about 350 books. 350 project management books. I've not read one of them. Okay? I get books. This is a great angle if any of you can work it. I get free books in exchange for my review of the book. Only thing missing here is reading the book. Okay? So what I do is I read highlights. I read certain things that I'm interested in, and I think, it's just like anything else. Once you know the topic, you don't have to read the whole book to figure out, does this individual know what they're talking about or not? And so I've got 350 of them. Most of them are good. I don't get paid, but I get a lot of kudos for endorsements. And I'm a little bit careful. I don't endorse a book that I don't feel represents the profession as we see it right now. But I don't think that we, as an organizational component, recognize the importance of people working together. we've become sort of a isolated community, individualized. We look at the project manager who gets a project done. He or she is a hero. Nobody really talks about the 15 people it took to get that job done. I mean, it's just like this session. If I just wanted to single out one person, I could do that. But take away all those other people, this thing sucks. Nobody's going to come to this because these people have worked together. It's become important to them. And what they're doing is practicing their profession. Running one of these programs is a project, without any question about that. And the one thing that came up as we talked about the dramatic entrance to my time was this idea of resources. That was really a cool thing we did with the resources. You finally got it right. But with the resources, well, I got to tell you, the secret to this success is resources. In today's matrix environment, remember the matrix was created as a cost-saving approach to management. It wasn't, they can disguise it any way they want, but it's about cutting costs, because now I don't have to maintain people individually over time. I can put them in a pool and loan them out when they're needed. Matrix them out when they're needed, okay? Here's the problem with projects, and this is going to be an issue for as long as I can think ahead, and that is that when you plan a project, that's the second problem we have. We don't plan for a darn. When you plan a project, you identify a skill set you need to carry out that project, to complete the objectives you've been asked to deliver, okay? And so you determine from that you need a subject matter expert, a SME. Remember, we call them SMEs. That's caught on now, SME. But when it comes time, and you use that to plan, that becomes your baseline for your project. Oh, yeah, we consider that. We need 3 SMEs. That's how long it'll take. So now it comes time to implement, okay? So you go to the resource pool owner, line manager, functional manager. I've heard them called other things, but that'll do for now. And when you look at that, when they assign you the people, you're looking for 3 SMEs, right? What do you get? You get 3 schmoes. And therefore, you've got to determine what's the impact on my project. Well, schmoes don't get as much done as SMEs, and the quality's lower. And so you got to go back and replan your project. But we're not doing that. And so what we do is we do projects that we're already behind. We haven't even started yet. My view is constantly, and I tell people this all the time, is that every project you start, you're already behind. You're already, wait a minute, I haven't even started yet. Yeah, well, you're behind. Okay? You're behind. And the reason they're behind is we plan in effort hours. So if we say to someone, how long will this take you to do this work? And they're subject matter experts, so they should know. They say, that's 8 hours of effort. Put it in the plan. Put it in the plan. Well, there's a little problem. That same guy who just told you 8 hours of effort for that piece of work is also committed to 3 other jobs at the same time. So now instead of 8 hours, we have a much longer length of duration, because now this side's only available for your work 2 hours a day. So now you're talking about 8 hours, right? You're talking about a lot more time. We never go back and revise the schedule. Never do. If you've ever done that, I'm so proud of you, I could just die. Because that would really be a sign that you get it. The whole idea of project management is to deliver better products faster, cheaper, all the fancy words that we use to describe that. And if you're not doing very basic things like this, then the rest is probably going to be a problem. And so what I've learned over the time frame, wow, so much to talk. How long do I have? 2 hours? no. There's so much to talk about. Predictive, the next big thing. I've been predicting the next big thing, okay? The next big thing is change management. Because every project that we undertake will undergo change. I can automatically tell you without reservation. And if you aren't prepared to manage change, it will manage you. And if you want to deliver good, successful projects, you have to manage change. We went through the risk thing. We're kind of through that process now. We still know we got to manage risk, but we don't like to because we don't like the answer. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons I stopped doing risk management. Hell, that's a bad answer. That's the wrong answer. No, it's the right answer. It just doesn't agree with me. And so we have to look at that from that perspective. And as we think about how do we do a better job, we use the techniques and we use the tools. As long as you understand the tools will not deliver the project for you, then you'll be okay. You'll be okay. In fact, you should become good at it. Now, one of the things I've done over my career is never get so knowledgeable about any one thing that people expect me to have good answers. I try to have a good general knowledge. My practical management common sense will get me through. And I think common sense is another thing we're missing in our project management world. Sometimes we look for a technique or a tool or some methodology that's going to save the day. It's not going to happen. It's going to be what you do as an individual with your peers that will get you through. If you decide to move up in the world, you've got to be able to take some risks. This is something I want to emphasize. There's 850 in the room. Probably 50 or 60 maybe are what I call risk takers. If you want to see your career blossom and go, you got to take risks. You got to take risks. When I sign up for opportunities when I was younger, a long time ago, when I was younger, I was taking a risk. When I'm an engineer and I sign up for a non-engineering job, I'm taking a risk. But you've got to take risks. In order to grow, you've got to take risks. And people start to recognize that. I've talked to enough people here in Bulgaria to realize I'm impressed with this, and I will be telling the world about this, and I hope you don't mind. As I talk to people here in Bulgaria, many of these people love their job. They love the people they work with. They love the benefits and the association that comes with the company. I've had a couple of people say, oh, I could make a lot more money in another company, but I love these people, okay? That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. And that's why I enjoy doing these programs, because I get a chance to hear about how other people do it, how other people are thinking about this process. And I don't want you to have objectives that are unrealistic, because then you become disappointed in what you've been able to accomplish. So you have to be realistic about what the opportunities are in project management. The beauty of PMI, and there's probably several beauties, but this one I'll talk about, is they have come to realize this. Over the past few years, they are now pushing, thank God, for our new guy, Pierre Lambert. I say that French, Lambert. Pierre has taken on the idea that he wants to facilitate the expansion of the project management community. It goes beyond PMI to include IPMA, all the other organizations that represent project managers. His point of view, I've been saying this for 5 years, his point of view is that we all need to come together. In fact, they're doing it today. This very day, they're presenting for the XPO that PMI does, this cast of characters. And they're talking about what can we do to expand the community so that it's not just about one organization, PMI was the lead organization because of the PMP. We've been the recognized leader in the business of project management. That doesn't mean we're the best. It means we're the one that has the loudest voice. And so we're looking at that from the standpoint of the future is how can I grow the community? How can I do it? And when you see 850 people attend a full day, I'll call it a workshop for want of a better word, you know the interest is high. And that's the first step. I need the interest. If the interest isn't high, you see, this room is empty when I present. So the interest is high. So now what we have to do for the future is capitalize on the attitude, on the perception of what we can accomplish with project management, and then put that into work. It's as simple as that. Now, again, I don't work anymore, so this sounds good when I say it fast. But you still have to work. You still have to deliver things. That's what we do as project managers. But I'll tell you what, if you ever... Well, let me ask you a simple question. How many of you would love to do what you love to do all day and not worry about how much you get paid? How much? Just raise your hand about. Okay, so we have, let me see, 17 liars. Okay, 17 people under peer pressure said, "Oh hell, I'm raising my hand for this one." That's what I do. I do what I believe in. I do what I want to do. When I joined PMI in terms of this role, I've been with them 45 years. I've seen a lot of change in PMI over those 45 years. But recently I joined them and I said, have I got a deal for you? I said, I will, if I get your agreement to allow me to do what I want, when I want, where I want, I'll help you. Thinking there's no damn way they're going to go with that. And they did. They bought it. They bought it. And so I'm free. I'm free to come and speak to people at any location in the world, and I do it for free. And I do it because I love it. I do it because, here I was talking with Natalia about this. She operates out of her heart, which may end up causing her some problems, but she operates out of her heart about her HR job, okay? And I think that one of the things I mentioned to her is that if you really love what you do, salary becomes secondary. Money becomes secondary, because the gratification I get, and by the way, what Natalia gets, at least she tells me that, is the feeling you get inside when you've helped someone, when you've added value to someone's life. And I reflected to her that you think that's cool. Wait till 5 or 6 or 10 years from now, and somebody comes up out of the audience and says, "God, thank you so much for what I got from you 5, 10 years ago." Now your heart's beating, because that's the kind of thing you want to be able to accomplish. So do we have time for questions or no? We don't. That's not unusual for me. I'll tell you what. I don't hit and run, so I'll be here all day. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, look me up. I'll be wandering around. It'll look like the blind guy wandering around. Look me up and ask me. I will finish with this. I love it. No, I do have a finish. I have a finish. Here's my finish. If you have, I encourage you to ask questions. Ask questions, okay? My view of this is, after 55 years in this business, there is absolutely no question that you can ask me that I don't have the answer for. That's how confident I am. That's how confident I am. And the reason for that is simple. If you're asking a question, you don't know the answer. I can tell you any damn thing I want. Okay? Thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.